In 2018, 79% of Canadians aged 15 and older reported volunteering. Of this number, a majority were people of an older age. If you're younger and haven't, that's okay. Many young people deal with a lot at school or work. However, volunteering has many benefits when you're young. You never know the people you meet or the opportunities you may find. Volunteer Manitoba is the place to find those opportunities.
So my name is Gloria Devo, and I'm the Community Relations Coordinator here at Volunteer Manitoba. It's nice to be here.
So I know we had a couple of chats last year, but there's probably been a ton that's happened since then. But the last thing we're kind of talking about was the Community Youth Innovators Program.
Yeah.
How did that all go?
Sure. So we had 6 successful youth-led projects over the summer. It was really interesting, a very good initiative that was sponsored by RBC Future Launch. And we had, I would say, about 23 or 21 youth in total from those 6 groups. And from their conversation, and then we had a final report. It seems to have really gone well for all the youth members. And yeah, we just had a few recommendations here and there, but in all, it was very good.
Not sure if you know, off the top of your head, but what were all of the different things that these youth were doing?
Yeah, so the 6 groups had different projects. So one group in Brandon had the literacy program. So they brought together.
Yeah, that's the one we talked to.
Yeah, they brought together newcomer youth to just keep them interacted in educational things like learning and even playing little games. And then there's one in the park. OCN, that's Opaskea Cree Nation. So they were focusing on education and also sexual reproductive health. And they were also having sessions with youth. And then there was another group here in Winnipeg that was mainly focused on soccer, but then trying to use soccer as a form of mental health support. And then another group called the Accessible Sports. I think I forgot the name, but Accessible Sports. So they were also looking at ways to create awareness as to how youth with disabilities could also engage in sports activities. And then another group was the personal finance. They were focusing on financial literacy for Black youth. And then we also had the last group, which was also looking at, I think I mentioned 3, right, in Winnipeg? Yeah, the last one was helping Community 204. So Community 204 is an organization that supports folks in downtown areas. And this youth were mainly doing hydration stations during the summer. And yeah, those were pretty much youth-led. And it was very interesting to find out the different things that led them to bring about these projects.
Such a wide variety of different initiatives and different sectors that they wanted to touch on. So I guess it was probably pretty exciting to see the youth kind of get involved and focus on these important things within our communities.
Exactly, yeah.
But that's not the only initiative that goes on at Volunteer Manitoba. What were some of the highlights from last year in terms of initiatives and programming?
Last year, we have a program that's a youth program called Student Recruitment Fairs, or we also call it Volunteer Fairs. So we go to different non-profit organizations and we tell them that, hey, there is this fair happening. So would they like to have their booths at schools? So we usually focus on post-secondary institutions. So last year we went to 7 of those.
That's awesome. And I think it's so cool getting, that spark of volunteerism in youth early, because when I was in high school and everything, there were kind of programs like that, but it's kind of like you had to go out and do it. And for most teenagers, they're like, wow, why would I waste my precious time on volunteering, right? But it's cool going out, going to these schools and planting that little bug in the air, be like, hey, want to make a small difference in your community? Hey, there are tons of opportunities.
Exactly. And funny enough, there are some youth who actually already know the importance of volunteering. So you don't have to tell them all the importance or the benefits to themselves. And those are youth that we really try to like, oh, how come you got to this point in your life? Because some of your friends do not see the importance of volunteering, and then they share that probably their parents or even like they just had the passion to engage at such an early age, and we're like, okay, so it's good to share the word, but then some people catch it quicker than some others. So yeah, it's just about creating awareness and also telling people the benefits, because some people actually do not know. They just feel like I'm going to work for free, and that's not good. It's different from paid work, and this is also volunteering. So I think trying to make people understand the difference is what helps some people also get on board.
I guess it could be a little hard, specifically in the kind of hustle culture that
Yeah,
we're in right now, that it's like, if you're not monetizing every moment of your hour, what's even the point? And I think
yeah,
that can be a little bit of a struggle, that we think, volunteering is only for the elderly, the retired, individuals
yeah,
who have a lot of free time.
yeah,
But I'm starting to put myself out there now. I delivered a couple of hampers this winter because I felt, you know what? Let's
yeah,
do it. Let's just start small and do something. And you know what?
yeah.
It was a lot of work to drive around, across the city, but at the end of the day, I know I made someone's day a little better.
Exactly. That's true. You have said it perfectly. I don't even know what to add on to it, but that's actually true. So sometimes, I think pre-pandemic, that's before 2020, most of the people who were involved in volunteering were actually like seniors, and they were given time. But I think because of the pandemic, some of them have just retreated. But then again, youth are also volunteering. That's not to discredit youth who are actually volunteering. So sometimes we always think it's the older people who volunteer, but actually youth are volunteering. But then again, the pandemic has just brought everything down. So trying to get people to come back. Some people, like before the pandemic, people used to volunteer at 2 or 3 different places, but now no one is volunteering. So it's very hard on organizations, and also, like you said, people want money for their time. But again, I also say, like, I in one of our presentations, there was a quote that came up. It's from Albert Einstein. He says that not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. So it's not every money that you go after. Sometimes you just have to give it for free. And even employers also look out for people who are not always like about the money. The money, you should have, should I say, you should have some humanity in you. Like you should have some, I don't know how to put it, but some, yeah, it should be there.
So, for someone who's maybe a little bit interested in this, they're like, I want to do something for my community. I got a lot of free time. I want to give a little bit of it back. What are some ways, or let me reword that. How can someone find volunteer opportunities that fits within their schedule, or fits within kind of their beliefs or ideologies?
Yeah, that's a good question. Volunteer Manitoba, we have a system that we put together different volunteer opportunities on our website. So currently we have over 100 opportunities. So organizations that are looking for volunteers put their positions. It's like a form of job description, I'll call it that. So you have where the organization is, what exactly they're looking for, and then the time commitment. And with volunteering, you have to call, like, you have to prioritize. So if it works well for you, then you apply. So we always encourage people to apply for at least 2 or 3 of them. So just like a job, you don't apply for one and just sit and wait. So you just try and apply for at least 2 or 3 of them. And then the organizations are they're also looking for volunteers, so they will also follow up on you if like you are a good fit for that position. And one thing about interest is that you as a person will have to just know what you're interested in. Sometimes it's not about what you study at school, or it's just about what's in your heart you want to give out. So just go through the website and just think of anything. There's a volunteer position out there, honestly. Even if you can't find it on our website, you can just go on Google and then find it. Our system helps you to just have one, it's like a one-stop shop. You just come in there and find it. So you don't have to be going on to different search engines to look for it. So that's like, we've made it easy for people to find places to volunteer. So yeah, and we also have a program called the referral program. So in case you go on our website and you can't find anything that does not interest you, you can email us at info@volunteermanitoba.ca, and then we'll help you put something together, curate a list for you, or direct you as to where to go to find something that will work for you. Yeah.
And when you're talking about that interest thing, yeah, it could be a lot of things. Maybe you love nature, you like going out for hikes in the woods and stuff. Maybe part of that interest is cleanup programs around the parks or the river here in Winnipeg. Going out there, helping out clean up, making it a little nicer and brighter. Because I know uh, one of my siblings is going to school for education, and they're talking about, what's the importance of like outside education. And we were talking, and they're saying that there are studies that that show there's evidence that says the more green there is out there, the better your mental state will be. Like, there's a correlation between us seeing nature and a sense of stability, or I guess like happiness isn't the right word, but I'll use that word.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
going out, planting gardens, or like just making things in your community a little closer to nature can help your neighbors. Maybe they're going out, they're like, wow, there's a lot of beautiful like native grasses now that have been installed in the boulevards, or things like, there's a ton of things. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas, but yeah, find something that you're passionate about, and there's probably people that are trying to do the same.
exactly. That's true. So sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be like going to a specific place to volunteer. You can also create your own, like I said, the Community Youth Innovators Program. That was kind of like the idea for people to create their own volunteer opportunities. So yeah, if you don't find something that is how do I call it, interest you right away, and then you want to create it, that's also good. You can create it with your friends. And again, some people are interested in nature, animals, and whatever you think of, there's a volunteer position. Because we went to some career fairs recently. Some students were like, oh, I'm doing this program, so what can I find in that field? And I'm like, your field is very niche, so you need to find positions that are probably on the way there, or you could just do something that is like from your heart. It doesn't always have to be what you're studying in school, because some scholarships or bursaries actually look for people who are all rounded. So it doesn't always have to be at, maybe you're studying I don't want to put any program on blast, but then you're studying one particular thing and you always want to volunteer in that field. That's okay. But if you don't find it, your interest can also supersede that. So that's, yeah, that's really good for young people or anyone at all to take on a volunteer role.
So for 2023, what are some initiatives or programs that are going to be available through Volunteer Manitoba? I know there's the training events calendar where people can go to find out a ton of information.
So yeah, that's actually good that you mentioned that. So with training, there are so many topics, and then we launched our training calendar. So you can also go on our website, www.volunteermanitoba.ca, and then you click on the tab that says training, and then the calendar is over there. It's easy to see what it entails, and then you can just sign up from there. And if you also want to have a personal conversation before you sign up, you can just reach out to us at info@Volunteer Manitoba.
Does Volunteer Manitoba have any like speaking engagements or things, like if a business or a school's like, hey, we want to get our employees or our students inspired?
Yeah, we do. So we have presentations or info sessions where we visit schools, and then we have conversations around the benefits of volunteering, or even sometimes we tailor it specifically to the audience. So let's say there are youth who are transitioning into employment or something. We talk about how volunteerism can affect your employment, and then vice versa. When it's maybe people who are looking for scholarships or bursary, we also talk about that. So we do have presentations, and one way you can book a presentation at your school, community group, organization, or wherever, you can just reach out to me again at gloria.dovo@volunteermanitoba.ca, and then you can just find a date that works for both of us. And we are open to either in person or virtual, so whichever preference the organization or group may like, we would also honor that.
For those who are listening or maybe feeling a little inspired to volunteer, there are so many benefits. Not only is it helping out a community, it looks great on a resume to volunteer, But you never know what sort of skills you might pick up during that. You never know. There's so much benefits of it. So, like, the possibilities are endless.
Exactly. There's so much. I know some students who want to go to medical school. They are like, oh, how can I volunteer? Like they want to do something specific. And I'm like, you wouldn't necessarily find a doctor on call trying to mentor you, like, because they are busy helping, like trying to save life. So most times you'd be surprised when you find doctors when they're chilled or relaxed, or even lawyers. You find them at small organizations trying to write grant applications because I know they are very good at those things. So sometimes you'll be like, I want to be in medical school. So you want to volunteer and then be with a doctor, but the doctor wouldn't have time for you, right? So sometimes you can volunteer elsewhere. Like you mentioned, you just cleaning rubbish, but then you're learning different things. So maybe you're helping an organization, like maybe you just arrange socks or something, and someone walks in and he or she is also a volunteer, and then oh, I'm a doctor. And then that's where the relationship comes in, and then you can get some mentorship. So I always tell people not to limit themselves. So anywhere at all, if it's just you creating your own volunteer opportunities with your friends or going out there to help, it really helps. And like you mentioned, there are so many things you can learn through volunteering. And sometimes these little things that people take for granted, people pay a lot of money to go and learn them. So you can just learn it when you're volunteering. So yeah, it's really good. And there's so many benefits, like you mentioned. There's so many benefits. And it's just about telling people and making them understand that it's volunteering. I know that some people find it that it's free labor, but I tell them that if you're doing it for a business or something, that is when it comes off as that. But if you're doing it for a non-profit organization, that is when the essence of volunteering is in there. So I'm not saying people should go and volunteer at businesses because those folks have money to pay you. But if you're volunteering at, say, Main Street Project, Silo Mission, Salvation Army, those are places that are good to volunteer. All the hospitals in the city. So yeah, that's the difference. And I try to make people understand the two before we go on with our conversation, especially when they say, "Oh, I cannot give my time for free."
Yeah, when I've talked with a couple of nonprofit organizations that have started up due to COVID to just help offset some of the challenges people have faced. And the one organization, Peg City Kindness Crew, they say
Ooh.
it's not hard work, it's heart work.
Oh, I like
Which
that.
I think that's very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. And you said a Spec City what?
Peg City Kindness Crew. So they
Kindness.
kind of help. Their whole thing is they're just trying to help out any way they can. Whether those are the people I helped with the hampers this
Oh,
Christmas.
okay.
So whether it's hampers, cleaning up, helping someone who might not be able to pay for groceries this week for their family. It's those small things, and they're always trying to find new innovative programs and things like that. So, I mean, if people are interested in volunteering or helping out, or if you do have disposable income and want to support an organization, you know, there are opportunities to help out nonprofits here in Winnipeg.
Yeah, and like for organizations as well, if they are also interested in having their positions, let's say they have volunteer positions on our website, they can do that at no cost to the organization. They can just reach out to us, or then they can also go on our website in our blog post. We have like three little steps that organizations can follow to have their positions on our website. And also, we can also publish those positions in the Winnipeg Free Press. So we have a spot in there that we can publish those positions for free. There are opportunities for organizations and opportunities for individuals as well.
Well, thank you, Gloria, for taking the time to chat with me about Volunteer Manitoba and the importance of volunteering. Where can people go to find out more information about your organization?
Thanks so much for having me here. And people can find Volunteer Manitoba at www.volunteermanitoba.ca, or you can also visit us on our social media, Volunteer Manitoba. We have Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as well. And you can just follow us, or you can send us an email at info@volunteermanitoba.ca, and we'll be there to support. And yeah, we hope people find places to volunteer soon. Some of the positions are actually virtual, so if you don't want to go out, that's also okay. Please find a place to volunteer soon. Thank you.
Have any stories you'd like us to share or communities we should highlight? Leave a comment on our social media or reach out to us on our website. I'm Ryan Funk. This was You Talk. And have yourself a good one.